What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to film theory WALL-E's secret villain, Disney Pixar WALL-E by the film theorists. Now, I didn't realize WALL-E had a villain. I'm very interested, but anyway, with that being said, hopefully this will be awesome. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the film theorists if you haven't already. Without any further ado, let's begin.
You know, when you stop and look at it, one film in Pixar's catalog truly shows us the dangers of the rampant consumerism in today's culture. It's a statement on the human desire to accumulate more and more and more useless stuff that just becomes garbage. Meaningless trash that eventually cycles back to becoming meaningless trash. And
so is that WALL-E's villain? Or is cleanliness WALL-E's villain? Because, you know, I think the purpose was to, like, clean, right? So when everything's clean, then he has no purpose. And so that would be his villain, maybe?
that movie is...
Ka-chow!
Thunder Hollow Challenge.
Ka-chow.
Send that back on the... Each sold separately. Other cars each sold separately. Each sold separately.
Sold separately. Each sold separate. Batteries not included.
Each sold separately. Each sold separately.
Cars.
Ka-chow. Wait, what about Cars? Did I just miss something there? Alright, give me a second. I think I just totally gapped something.
Becomes garbage. Meaningless trash that eventually cycles back to becoming meaningless trash. And that movie is...
Ka-chow!
Thunder Hollow Challenge.
Cars? What? I'm freaking
Sold
confused.
separately.
Welcome to Film Theory, the show that does the dirty work of sifting through mountains of detail with the efficiency of a WALL-E robot. Which is to say, not very efficiently at all, but hey, at least we try really hard. You know, if there's one thing to say about my favorite Pixar movie, WALL-E, it's that it's not exactly subtle with its theme. The Earth has been transformed into a post-apocalyptic wasteland, left in a ruined state by humanity's wasteful consumerism. And not in a cool way like Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. Plastic sporks, Rubik's Cubes, leftover Twinkies, the kinds of trash that you and I produce on a daily basis litter every square inch of the planet. The message is beaten over our head.
We didn't take care of our Earth, and now you've inherited our problems. We didn't listen. We didn't listen.
Well, you can't blame me for the garbage. I am a toy. Oh, wait a minute, that means I'm garbage. Oh no, you better not throw me away, Charmx.
Every soup tin that you toss, every banana peel that you give the slip, and every Diet Coke can that gets canned is part of the problem. You, dear viewer, sitting in the theater eating your jumbo tub of pop.
Was that Al Gore? Was that Al Gore? This is a little side note, but he actually has a 10,000 square foot home, which uses up more electricity than most families.
Popcorn and your mega-sized Coke have made this Earth uninhabitable with your wanton lust for more. And now humanity has been forced to take to the stars while these innocent little robots have been forced to clean up our mess for the last 700 years.
B&L Starliners leaving each day. We'll clean up the mess while you're away.
This movie wants to give us a wake-up call, to get us to go green and keep blue. There's one thing that I've learned from years of watching movies and TV shows, and that's you can't believe everything you're told at face value.
Well, I mean, that actually goes with a lot of things in life, more than just, movies and TV shows and whatnot, because, I mean, like, right now, fake news is, people go crazy over fake news. I mean, the truth nowadays can be quite hard to find.
And WALL-E here, for as much as I love it, is no exception. When you actually stop and question the events of the movie, you start to realize that something sinister is afoot. A plan-
Oh no, here we go. Here we go. This is where Matt Pat ruins a movie for me. Oh boy. Well, it was only a matter of time, I guess.
that everything we've been led to believe about WALL-E and its trash-filled cities is complete and total garbage. In the opening scenes of WALL-E, we see abandoned buildings, light poles, street signs, and other indicators that this was once a thriving metropolis. This indicates the breakdown of one of the most basic things required for a modern city to function, a waste management system that transports waste out of the city towards landfills. And though that might seem like a dirty business, both literally and figuratively, waste disposal is big money. Contractors get into bidding wars over the ability to take away a city's trash.
And then I started eating garbage. I'm the trash man.
Because not only does it
That was awesome. That was awesome. I'm the freaking trash man. I was not expecting that. Freaking Danny DeVito.
allow you to collect on a city's tax dollars, all that stuff that's taken out of your paycheck for sanitation expenses, but landfill waste actually tends to produce methane gas, which many landfills are designed to capture and turn back into electricity. Just 2 landfill gas waste-to-energy facilities can generate enough electricity to power 16,000 homes.
Wow.
So basically, trash collectors are double dipping. Payment to take out the garbage, and then extra payment for selling electricity made from that garbage back to the city.
Wow.
It's a
I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's freaking brilliant.
fantastic business. If in WALL-E humanity can afford to create rockets that transport everyone off the planet, then it can absolutely very easily afford to have trucks deliver trash to landfills. Which means that, for the situation to have gotten this bad, the world must have run out of space for landfills. Except, that one isn't gonna be true either. You see, trash is a problem that people in science and business have been studying for a long time. One of those people was the self-proclaimed garbologist, Dr. William Rathje, an archaeologist professor at University.
Garbologist? Come on, you couldn't have come up with a better name. Like, that's just... If you call yourself a garbologist, no one's gonna take you serious. No one's gonna take you serious. Like, are you trying to be funny?
University of Arizona, who turned his powers of archaeology not toward studying dinosaur bones or millennia-old human remains, but studying the way that humans manage and treat trash. According to an article by Dr. Rathje in Smithsonian Magazine, the total amount of landmass needed to contain all of our trash isn't that large. A single landfill 120 feet deep and 44 miles square would be able to handle the US's waste for the next 100 years.
What? That's freaking crazy. Oh, come on, Matt. You ruined the movie. You ruined the movie. This just proves everything in WALL-E could be wrong, basically. Right? And then, you know, you got like China and all these other places which have bad trash issues. So they could do the same thing, but maybe make it a little bit bigger, I guess. And, you know, everything would be fine. Are you telling me there's a conspiracy with the people who do the trash stuff? Are they the ones who created the robots and they're charging the people to clean up the earth? Oh my goodness. Imagine if that's a conspiracy.
Now granted, that's a landfill the size of Delaware, which sounds like a lot, but remember, that's our second smallest state. It's 1/20th of 1% of the US's total landmass. If we kept filling landfills at the same rate we do now, after 10,000 years, we would still have only covered 5% of our total available area. 10,000 years later. In short, the prospect of running out of space for all our trash anytime near the future just isn't realistic, and certainly not realistic in the 700-year future of WALL-E.
Well, you ruined the movie for me, Matt. And I'm a toy. Imagine how Charmx feels.
But I know what you're thinking. All of that is at our current rate, right? What about the future? We're gonna get more and more wasteful and generate more and more garbage as the years go on, right? That's what I was thinking too, but when you actually sit down and do the research, this assumption turns out to be incorrect. For as weird as it might seem, as time goes on and our society becomes more advanced, the amount of waste we produce goes downward.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I guess that would make sense. Just because, you know, people nowadays are becoming more conscious of it. So they try not to be, you know, as wasteful. So that would make sense that it would go down over time.
Every year, we're figuring out ways to make our packaging more and more efficient.
Exactly.
In the 1950s, we replaced heavy and dense glass bottles with plastic bottles. Then we replaced those plastic bottles with thinner bottles. You see it all the time on items like water bottles. This bottle is designed to use 20% less plastic. And this waste reduction is all thanks to companies being run under the idea that green is good. But, not environmental green. No, it's not nearly that altruistic of a goal. Money! Money!
Because you use less plastic, you save more money?
Green is good. When a company figures out how to make a bottle with 20% less plastic, sure, it's good for the environment, but it's also good for the bottom line. It means
Yeah, it saves more money. Saves plastic money.
they saved money by manufacturing 20% less plastic. Packaging foam gets slimmer every year. Why? Not because companies care about the environment, but because the less packaging material you use, the less it costs. This is one of the places where businesses driven by profit actually make the world more sustainable. But in the world right now, less advanced societies tend to produce more waste because they don't benefit from all the innovations that we have in producing more efficient packaging. Food preservation.
Yeah, as I was saying, you know, other places around the world, like India or China or whatever, that have some trash problems. If you were to make this massive hole, like Matt was suggesting, even if you were to make it a little bit bigger, it could still take all the garbage, right? It'd be fine.
Techniques like refrigeration and a transportation network that ensures that food is always getting to the people who are able to use it rather than being unsold and left to rot. The average person living in New York City right now generates less waste than a person living in Mexico City. In short, as the world gets more and more technologically developed, we're gonna produce less and less waste, not more. Even things like saving paper. We do
Yeah, so 10,000 years or 1,000 years or 700 years in the future, you know, when WALL-E's supposed to take place, there wouldn't be that much garbage at all by that point, right?
Things all digitally now, so we've saved tons and tons of paper. All of this, the obvious profit motives that companies have to deal with our city's trash problem, the indirect profit motive of companies wanting to use less materials and make things more efficient, and the relatively small amount of land mass it would take to create a landfill to deal with it all, makes it seem like the futuristic dystopia that we see in WALL-E should be impossible. There is no way a city could fill up with garbage like this quickly.
Unless there's like a conspiracy with the trash people, right? Because I think that'd be crazy, where they, the trash people make the WALL-Es, and then they charge the government or whatever to go and get the WALL-Es to clean up everything.
Unless this was intentionally what you were trying to do.
Exactly!
But that would be stupid, right? Who would intentionally want to fill up a planet
The trash man! The trash man!
with garbage?
B&L Starliners leaving each day. We'll clean up the mess while you're...
They do! They do! See, look, what was I saying? What was I saying? We'll clean up the mess for a fee, right? They're gonna charge them, and then this is brilliant. Brilliantly evil. That is actually a dark plot twist to this movie. Why, Matt?
away. Too much garbage in your face? There's plenty of space out in space.
Because at B&L, space is the final frontier.
Too much garbage in your face? Too much garbage in your face?
Space is the final frontier.
So get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. The Axiom is waiting, and the stars are calling.
So B&L are the ones who are doing it, where they ship you off into space and they charge you to clean up the Earth. Oh my goodness.
That's right. The company responsible for the WALL-E program that's supposed to clean up the Earth's trash problem was the one that intentionally created the Earth's trash problem to begin with. Why? Well, it's simple. By getting the Earth's population onto by and large starliners like the Axiom,
Which are owned by B&L, so you can like charge them and whatnot.
by and large has what marketers refer to as a captive audience. People who have no choice but to consume your products and your advertisements. On board
Oh, I didn't even think of that, yeah. Oh my goodness, this freaking ruins the movie, Matt!
the Starliner, the company has an absolute monopoly over humanity with no opportunity for competition. Everything about these people's lives, from the entertainment they're viewing to the food they consume, is all managed by this one single mega corporation. Children
Amazon.
are even indoctrinated from early childhood to consume by and large products.
B is for by and large.
Everyone seems to think that humanity's
Wow.
rampant consumerism inadvertently turned the Earth into the uninhabitable wasteland that it is, that the B&L Starliners were the solution the company came up with to solve it. But look at the way the B&L Starliners are advertised. They show people living in luxury, almost like space is a getaway vacation. This doesn't look like a disaster relief program at all. It looks like a space cruise that was designed as a way to siphon people's cash away. But
You gotta question how those people get cash in the first place, right? Because I believe, you know, originally when they went off in their spaceships or whatever, it was only for a couple years. Like, was it like 50 years or something? It was I don't remember. It was a really small amount of time. But they ended up going for 700 years. So, I mean, how are people making money in the first place? So is B&L employing everyone, then creating their own money and paying everyone with their own money? Because at that point, you're not really making money. Because, you know, people have to have jobs to make money, right? So what do they all do? Where's the money getting made? And how is B&L profiting off it? This actually brings up a good question, because this doesn't make any sense now.
there's just one problem with that. Not everyone is willing to go to space. A survey by the Manpower Research Agency found that only 32% of workers would be willing to permanently relocate overseas, even if it meant getting a better job and advancing their career. How many fewer people would be willing to leave the entire planet and everyone they know and love for the unknowns of outer space? No.
Well, if a lot of people are going on here, the people left on Earth, where it is, you know, in this situation, horrible, and it's got dirt everywhere and garbage everywhere, no one would want to live there. And they'd be like, well, where do I want to go? What, do I want to stay here with the trash? Or do I want to go on a spaceship with my friends, where they have pools and you get waited on and whatnot? I mean, obviously, they're going to go there. And the more people that go there, the more that are left on Earth are going to feel left out, and they're going to have less friends with them, so they're going to start going, and it's continuous until everyone's gone.
No, it's not enough to entice people off the planet. When no one was willing to go on their expensive space cruises, they needed to find a way to force people off.
Oh yeah, okay. So I was just so they created the ships as a space cruise to begin with, but that didn't work. So then they decided to make the trash everywhere. Okay, I jumped to a conclusion.
The planet. And what better way than to turn every city into a huge contamination zone? And not only do they have the motive, they have the means to do it. They're the largest seller of goods in the Pixar verse. I mean, you see it in Up. By and large controls construction companies, so chances are they could also control the waste disposal companies too. Because what's better than saving a couple bucks by being green? Well, stealing everyone's lifetime income by keeping them captive on your space cruiser.
Now, wow, my mouth's so freaking dry. I was gonna say, but that doesn't make sense because they were on the ship for like 700 years. No one has savings to last them 700 years. Most people don't, I think statistically, most people don't have an emergency fund of $400 in the bank account. So how do you expect people to go on a freaking spaceship for 700 years with $400? That doesn't make sense. People have to have jobs. People have to work, right? So my question is, after 700 years, there has to be an economy on the spaceship in order to keep it going. And if that's the case, what are the people doing for work? Because if people aren't making money, they can't afford to buy the food and whatnot. Like, there's something this doesn't add up.
Led to believe that this was something that happened because of us, because humanity was careless and wasteful and didn't look after the environment. But the truth is far more sinister. It was by and large corporate greed that caused this to happen. This, without a doubt, solidifies By and Large as the most sinister Pixar villain of all time. By and Large killed an entire planet. Now go out and recycle a can. Our fate hangs in the balance. But hey, that's just a theory.
It's a very great theory. It's 100% believable. It's 100% believable. And the only thing that doesn't make sense to me, as I've said, is the whole financial situation. Because even if you had like $10,000 in the bank, how are you supposed to live off of that for 700 years, or even 100 years, or 50 years, or 20 years? Let alone like 4 years. You can't. So at that point, how does By and Large make any money if they've been out in space or whatever for 700 years? Because no one's gonna have money, so there has to be an economy that's created or whatever to keep things going. And if that's the case, By and Large is making the money themselves, like they're printing it or whatever, and giving it to people. And at that point, you can't really profit because you're the one who's making the money. That makes no sense. I don't understand. Something doesn't make sense here. But besides that, I think Matt is correct that By and Large is the one who did it. Anyway, with that being said, if you guys like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share a friend. If you're new, subscribe to join the family. Also, make sure you guys go subscribe to the Film Theorist. That link's in the description. I'll see you guys next time. Boop!